There are numerous answers to number 1, but the best is a straight line.
She said it was linear function.
Listen to me, please. I'm going to rewind. There are numerous answers for number 1. The best answer is a straight line. The reason that is a better answer than linear function or linear relation is because I specify on a graph. How do you put a linear function on a graph? It makes a straight line. But I will accept linear function for 1 mark. A graph whose points are not connected. Discrete data or data, depending on where you are from. And number 3, continuous. Now there's something I would like to point out here. This is the actual definition of continuous data. The reason we are making a serious point about this is because a line is nothing more than an infinite amount of dots placed so close together it appears to be a straight line, just like a cartoon. Each millisecond in a cartoon is a still picture, but they are placed so close together that your brain sees them as a straight line. That is what continuous data is. Okay? Okay. 1 total out of 3. Now, some of these words I haven't specifically taught you because you already know. Or you should be able to follow the clues to figure them out. What is the measure of the steepness of a line? D, as in doorknob. 2, A. 3, F. 4, C. 5, B. And 6, E. For 6 marks. Now, there is a typo here. This should say -4, which is really, really weird because in my actual document, it does say -4. I don't know where that negative went. Somewhere between Control X and Control V, there's a negative sign floating around in the universe. I don't know where. Because on my original, because I checked it in the other class, and on the way out I said, hey, look, it really is there. And they were like, yeah. So who knows? But whatever. Everybody gets a free mark here because, of course, this first answer is actually supposed to be C, because there should be a negative there. But as far as I know, every one of you circled B, because that's what the teacher said. C is the real answer. All of you get 1 mark for it. But I would like to take a moment to explain why. Because it's very easy to see why the domain is all real numbers. Because you can take any number in the universe, square it, multiply it by 3, and then subtract 4 from that answer, can't you? That is why X is everything. But why, no matter what we choose for X, for example, let's take 0. 0 squared is what? 0, right? 0 times 3 is what? 0. Minus 4? Minus 4. Now let's go to 1. 1 squared is what? 1 times 3? Minus 4? -1. 2. 2 squared is? 4 times 3? Minus 4? 8. They are getting bigger, yes? Go the other way. -1 squared. +1 times 3? Minus 4? -1. Then it's going to be +8. It looks like this. Because it's got a square. So the lowest y value possible is -4. And then it goes up from there. So y has to be greater than or equal to -4. That is why this should have had a negative. I purposefully left off the equal sign because in multiple choice you were supposed to pick the best answer, yes? And even though the right answer is greater than or equal to -4, I didn't put the negative there to see how many people go, the answer's not there. You're right, the answer isn't there, but there is an answer there that is better than all the rest. Well, there would have been if the negative sign didn't screw off to go to the bathroom like all you guys do 20 times a day. Eight, which is it? E. Abso-smurfly correct. 9. A. Abso-smurfly correct. And 10? B, as in, boy, did you guys do a good job. First page was out of 6 and 3 is 9. Second page. So now, this question is going to be out of 4. 1 mark is she rode away from home, then she rode back. 1 out of 4, because that's true. Everybody cool? 2 marks. She rode away from home, then started riding a little faster, and then rode home. 2 marks. Good? 3 marks. She rode away from home and rode 2 kilometers in 12 minutes. Then she continued to ride away from home and rode 4 kilometers in 15 minutes. Then she turned around and rode home, covering 6 kilometers in 30 minutes. That's 3 out of 4. 4 out of 4, she rode away from home at a speed of 8 km/h. I'll tell you in a second. Then she sped up to 16 km/h. Then she rode home at 12 km/h. That gets you the 4 out of 4. You may use fractions if you need to. Give yourself a grade, then I will explain it. The first section, she went 2 kilometers in 15 minutes. Is that a way we measure speed?
No.
No, we measure speeds in unit rates, like kilometers per hour or kilometers per minute. You use one that makes sense. This is a quarter of an hour, yes? Yes. So if I multiply that by 4 to get 60 minutes, which is 1 hour, what do I have to do to the top one? Multiply by 4 to get 8 km/h. Then she sped up and went, that was supposed to change color, and went 4 km in 12 minutes. I think it's 12.
I said
15 to 30. Oh, it's in 15 minutes. So it's 16 km/h. Then she went home at 6 kilometers in 20 minutes, which is, 18 km/h is how fast she drove home.
So if you got the numbers wrong, you just get like a 3.
You would get 3. So you would get 4, you gave me a rate, but why would you do it for minutes?
I don't know, I just tried.
The sub folder showed how to do it.
No, I just did it minutes.
But why? Then it's a yucky number.
I wasn't thinking, okay.
Because it says minutes at the bottom.
The sub said go jump out the window. It's reasonable? What do you mean it's not related to math? Jump out the window. How fast are you going when you hit the ground?
Ooh, you can yell.
All right. How long will it take your hollers and cries of pain to get up to my ears? Now, seriously though, folks. Yes, but again, ladies and gentlemen, what is our goal? Math should look elegant, shouldn't it? If you go meters per minute, or kilometers per minute, it's a yucky number with a bunch of decimals.
That's why, yeah, that's why.
Right? Okay? Remember, I am looking, listen please, I am not looking at which one of you are the best trained monkeys. Right? I am looking at which one of you, those of you who understand the concepts that go along with math. Can I teach a grade 2 kid with a calculator to do this by minutes? Right? 1 or whatever it was, 2 km in 15 minutes. Well, you need that to be 1, so you divide by 15, you divide by 15. It would take 2 seconds, right? But if you look at that and you're actually thinking about math, you should recognize that that is a quarter of an hour. So if you multiply by 4, you get to an hour, which is a real number in a real rate that we would actually use, right? We do not say we drive down the highway at 2 kilometers a minute, do we? We say 120 kilometers per hour. Okay? Everybody understand? But you still get your 4 out of 4 if you did kilometers per minute or meters per minute. Okay? That was out of 4. Linear or nonlinear for 1 mark?
That's linear.
Wait.
No, it is linear.
A is yes.
Linear.
The dot's
That gets you 1. What's the explanation?
the dot's going
Continuous rate.
Goes up, increases by 1 on the independent variable, 2 on the dependent variable. Doesn't matter which order you write it in. Makes the stairs. Explain your decision. That gets you 1, 2. So that's out of 2 marks. This one, linear or nonlinear? Non. Why?
There's a square in second.
There's an exponent. It can't go up linearly because the first one goes up. If that's 1, it goes up by 1. If it's 2, what does it go up by? 2 squared. 4. If it's 3, what's it go up by? 9. So I'm going over 1 on the x, but I'm going up 1. Then over 2, I'm going up 4. Over 3, I'm going up 9. Over 4, I'm going up 16. Over 5, I'm going up 25. Over 6, I'm going up 36. So it's nonlinear because of the exponent. This one's tricky. Is it linear? I go up by 3, up by 3, up by 6. But if I went up by 3, it would be 7, correct? Down by 2, down by 2. Down by 2 would be -1. Down by 2 again would be -3. It's linear.
Yes.
I showed you that in your notes. That exact thing about skipping a spot. We spent ages on it. Why is it linear? Because the changes are constant. And I know that sounds weird to say that something that's changing can be constant, but it's true. Just like your house burns up at the same time it burns down. Think about it.
Whoa. I don't know if that's a joke, but is
It's
it?
not a joke. It's just the way language works. How can something that changes be constant? Constant means it doesn't change.
Yeah.
So that's out of 6, making that page out of 8 and 6, 14. On a number line, what are my x's? 0, 1, 2, 3.
-2.
Now, I should have what kind of dot on all of these? Closed dot. And what are my y's? -2, 0, 2, 4. And they should all have a closed dot. Set notation, that's the squiggly ones with the arrows. So, what is the lowest radius I can have? but can I actually have a radius of 0?
Guess not.
Well, no, because then you don't have a circle, right? So I can't equal 0. What's the biggest radius I can have, theoretically? Infinity. Will I ever get there? No. So that's one way you could have written it. You also could have written r has to be greater than 0. I would have accepted either one. Why? What's the smallest area I could have? 0. Would I actually have an area of 0? No. And at infinity. So I can also accept y has to be greater than 0, but it can't equal 0. Everybody good? And as a list, this one messed people up. What are the x's?
What are the first numbers?
Negative 2, 1, 3, 1.
What? 3.
Sorry, negative 2, idiot. 1, 4, 10. What are the y's?
5.
5.
No.
-3.
Negative 3,
Oh. Yeah.
1, 3, 5. They are no longer pairs once you split them into domain and range. They are a set of domain values and a set of range values listed from lowest number to highest number. 1, 1, 1, making that out of 3. At the bowling alley, Angela rents some shoes, costs $2.50 bowl a game. You make an equation. There's lots of ways you can write it, lots of ways you can do it. I'm going to write the answer, then you could ask me how I came up with it if you need to. Cost. As a function of g, I use g for games bowled, equals 2.5 g plus 3. Now, some of you might have written 3 plus 2.5, then a variable. X, Y, Q, whatever you want. Order doesn't matter. But you need a constant of 3, positive, and you need that multiplication, whatever letter you used. Most people in the other class left it as X. I don't know why they would leave games bold as X, but they did. I made it G for games bold. That is worth 1. Does anybody need to ask how I got to that? Everybody can do it? Sweet. Is it a function? Yes. Why? Yes. X increases by 1, Y increases by 250. For how long?
Forever.
Technically forever, but nobody can bowl forever. Well, maybe you could if you had that ramp thing that they give to little kids where they put the ball on the top and it rolls down the ramp so your arm wouldn't get tired. Maybe if you had that, you could bowl forever. I mean, you'd have to pee and poo and sleep, but I don't know what the world record is for straight bowling, but I bet it's somewhere in the days. I'm sure it's like 10 or 12 days straight. I know, people trying to get a world record for what point? None. There's no money in it. You think someone's going to pay me because I can stand in a bowling alley for 10 days in a row so you can get your name in the stupid book? The only people that know any world records from that book are kids like in grade 4 who don't want to read a book for silent reading. They grab the Guinness Book of World Record and start flipping through it. As all of you did. And I can tell right now because a bunch of you are not meeting my eyes because you know I disapprove of you using silent reading time to find out the longest fingernails ever.
I would just like to figure out to see which things are disgusting.
Yes, of course you did. The fingernail is my favorite. They grow in corkscrews. Except your thumb, which grows like this.
Yes.
And how much did it cost Angela to bowl 4 games? $13. 2 there, 1 for the yes, 1 for the explanation, 1 there. Making that page out of 7. Any questiones? Oh, what's the world record for bowling? 134 hours, so only 5 days in a row. What a wuss! What? Yeah.
Were the first three two out of two or not?
Were they out of 2? No, there was no reason.
Oh, okay.
It was just express your answer.
Okay.
Aye. There are 2 lines because there are 2 balloons. Alaric gets the pink line. Which is that? The top or the bottom?
Wait.
Yeah, the top one. Pointing on the bottom. Bottom.
You're just saying both, Zach. Yes. This is Alaric. This is Carlinda.
These are fun names. Where did you get them?
What is the initial height? Where's Alaric?
11. So 10 meters.
10 meters. Where's Carlinda?
30.
30 meters. How fast is each balloon rising? Now listen, this is when we get back to that argument we were having with the TOC. Well, not an argument. You know what I mean. What is... There's numerous ways we could write a speed, yes? We have meters and minutes, so we could just use meters and minutes. Right?
What's the review out of that?
We're in the middle of marking it, Ariana. I'll stop everything so I can answer your question.
No, never mind. I didn't even realize it.
You can quite plainly see on the red line, even though it's not very straight, I'm going to do this.
Oh, the stretching, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
You can quite plainly see that it starts here at 0, 10, and this point right here is up 30 at 40 and out here at 2, yes? Which means in 2 minutes I rose 30 meters. So in 2, I know the screen just went out, I rose 30 meters in 2 minutes. Now, do we give rates like that? Something in 2 minutes? No. What do we give our rates as? 1 minute. So it is 15 meters per minute. That is Alaric. What is our friend Carlinda? Is 10 meters per minute. 2 marks there, 2 marks there, 1 for each. When are the balloons at the same height? 4 minutes, where the lines cross. Because at input of 4, they are both at the output of 70. 4 minutes, and they are at 70 meters for 1 mark there, making that question out of 5. Any questiones about that questione? Good. What does this graph represent? Hint, hint. The title often tells you what a graph represents.
Flight from Toronto to Rome.
How long it takes to get?
Flight from Toronto to Rome. Why wouldn't you fly from Toronto to Rome? Why wouldn't you fly from Toronto to anywhere? Ugh.
You don't like to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was the same. It was 9 hours from Vancouver to but it was an extra 4 hours from Toronto.
Depends on the wind. All right. Domain and range. What is the domain? The x values, which are? Time. So what's the domain?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
0. What should be here?
10.
Time. Less than or equal to? 9. Could you also write it this way?
Yeah.
Yes. Because it is continuous. What is the range?
0.
Kilometers, distance, something like that.
To 7,001.
How did it get 8?
I think it's probably somewhere around 7,200.
7,000.
Great.
How did you know?
No, I did.
Half a mark.
And how long has the plane been flying when it is 3,900 kilometers from Rome?
It's 5 minutes.
So I go out to 3,900 and I slide down here.
4 hours.
Give your answer to the nearest hour. 4 hours. 1, 2, 1. Out of 4, making that whole page out of 9. Neuf. A set that says a 14 is 30. A neuf is 39. When will you give me that value? On the test, which is what day? Woden's Day. What else are you going to do on Wednesday?
Hockey game.
Go to the hockey game to watch me look like an idiot. It is worth $2 of your money.
So the beginning of class.
You're willing to pay $20 to go see a people you don't know look like idiots on a movie screen. Come see people you do know look like idiots in real life.
So,
Harvier. I don't know when it does. I got to leave early because I got to get dressed.
so the beginning of the. Yeah.
Okay. Wednesday